As I walked through the wilderness of this world, I lighted on a certain place where was a den, and laid me down in that place to sleep. And as I slept, I dreamed a dream. I dreamed, and behold, I saw a man clothed with rags, standing in a certain place. His face was turned away from his own house. He had in his hand a book, and upon his back a great burden. As I looked, I saw him open the book and read therein. And as he read, he wept and trembled. And not being able longer to contain, he brake out with a most lamentable cry.
What shall I do? Oh, what shall I do?
In this plight, therefore, he went home and restrained himself as long as he could, that his wife and children should not perceive his distress. But he could not long be silent, because that his trouble increased. Wherefore at length he brake his mind to his wife and children, and thus he began to talk to them.
Oh, my dear wife, and you, the children of my bowels, I, your dear friend, am in myself undone by reason of a burden that lieth hard upon me.
Burden? What burden, my dear?
I don't see any burden, Papa.
Though you see it not, yet it liketh to crush out my life beneath its weight.
Dear, dear, an invisible burden, so heavy as to crush out your life? What can it be?
Hear me, my dear ones. I am most certainly informed that this, our city, will soon be burned with fire from heaven.
What? Burned down?
Yes, burned to ashes.
No.
Yes, and in that fearful overthrow we shall all miserably come to our ruin.
My dear husband.
And as for a way of escape, I can see none.
None?
None?
None. We are doomed to perish with our town of destruction.
Now at this, his relations were sore amazed, not because they believed that what he had said to them was true, but because they thought that some frenzied distemper had got into his head. Therefore, since it was drawing toward night, they got him to bed with all haste in the hopes that some sound sleep might settle his brains.
Ah, woe is me! Lost and undone am I. All lost.
But the night was as troublesome to him as the day. Wherefore, instead of sleeping, he spent it in sighs and tears.
Ah, what shall become of me, wicked man that I am?
Now when morning was come, they would know how he did.
Art thou happy now, dear father?
Yes, how goes it with thee, dear husband?
Worse.
Worse?
Worse, and yet more worse.
Oh, dear, what shall we do for thee, poor man?
We must set ourselves to study and prayer that we may know how to escape this city of destruction.
Escape? My dear, there is nothing to escape from. Come now to thy right senses, ere the magistrates declare thee to be lunatic.
No, we must escape forthwith. But how? Only how?
Husband, come to thyself.
So they, believing him to be taken with the distemper, sought to drive it away by behaving towards him with utmost hardness and disrespect. Sometimes they would deride him, sometimes chide him. At other times, they would quite neglect him. Wherefore he began to retire himself to his chamber, to pray for and pity them, and also to condole his own misery. He would also walk solitary in the fields, sometimes reading, and sometimes praying. And thus for some time he spent his days. Now I saw, upon a time, when he was walking in the fields, that he was, as he was wont, reading in his book, and greatly distressed in his mind. And as he read, he burst out as he had done before, crying,
Oh, wretched man that I am! What shall I do to be saved?
I saw also that he looked this way and that way, as if he would run. Yet he stood still, because, as I perceived, he could not tell which way to go. I looked then and saw a man named Evangelist coming to him.
Good day.
Good day. And who art thou?
My employer hath named me Evangelist.
Oh, woe is me. Woe is me.
Good sir, wherefore dost thou cry?
Because, sir, I perceive by the book in my hand that if I remain in this city of destruction, I am condemned to die. And I find that I am not willing to die, neither am I able to come to judgment.
Why not willing to die, since this life is attended with so many evils?
Because I fear that this burden that is upon my back will sink me lower than the grave, and that I shall fall into hell.
I see.
And good sir, I be not fit to go to judgment, much less to my execution. It is the thoughts of these things make me cry.
Well then, why standest thou still here?
Because I know not whither to go.
I then saw that he gave him a parchment roll, and there was written therein, "Flee from the wrath to come."
Good sir, I know that I must flee, but whither must I fly?
Over there, across that wide, wide field. Do you see yonder wicket gate?
No.
Do you see yonder shining light?
I think I do.
Keep that light in your eye, and go directly thereto. So shalt thou see the gate, at which when thou knockest, it shall be told thee what thou shalt do to inherit eternal life.
I shall, good sir. I shall.
See that thou take not thine eye off the light.
I shan't. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
So I saw in my dream that the man began to run. Now, he had not run far from his own door when his wife and children, perceiving it, began to cry after him.
Mama, look! Come home, Daddy.
Husband, where are you going?
To life. Life. Eternal life.
Papa, where are you going? Father, come back.
Christian, you come back here this minute. Do you hear me? Come back this instant.
Life. Life. Eternal life.
Mama, he's put his fingers in his ears. He can't hear us.
Fool man. His brain's so addled he won't hear. Christian!
Papa, come back. Come on, Daddy.
Come, look! It's Christian! Aye, he's finally flipped his wig, he has. The fool, man! Come back before you lose your way.
Ah, let the fool go. Better off we are without the likes of him around here.
What's all the excitement, lads?
Oh, the fool has finally lost his mind and runs amok.
Aye, straight into trouble he goes.
So, he's finally made a break for it, eh?
Oh, dear. Oh, me. Oh, obstinate. I just knew this would happen, what with him reading that book all the time.
Yes, Brother Pliable, we should have taken it away from him as soon as we saw the distemper settle on him.
Oh, dear. Oh, me. Now, what can we say to save the dear soul?
Say? Nay, not what we say will do, but what we do will do.
Your meaning escapes me, dear obstinate. Do clarify.
Foolish Pliable. He has his ears all stopped up. He will hear no language but that of animal power.
Clarify more, dear sir. Do clarify.
Can't you see? We must needs go fetch him back by force.
Oh, splendid idea. Simply splendid. Shall we off?
Off with us. Don't worry, madam. We'll save him from his distemper yet.